What's up, everyone? Welcome to this review of the eFootball Sunday update. And as usual, there is a new pack and we have a new player here. Added to the game, it is Steve McManaman from Real Madrid in this Real Madrid Epic pack, along with Claude Makelele and Michael Owen. So let's have a look at this here. Claude Makelele, Fortress, and Phenomenal Pass as their skill. Michael Owen, phenomenal finishing and acceleration burst. And Steve McManaman, added to the game for the first time, he only gets one skill, momentum dribbling, not really a useful one. And as it has been the case, with the new release of these players, the first time they appear in the game, they have this card design and the 30th anniversary design, and they only get one skill. They have a card that is not all that great. And so, honestly, I don't think it is really worth it to spin for this McManaman. He will most likely get a better card sometime in the future with a couple of skills and one that will be probably better than momentum dribbling. So let's have a look here at the Claude Makelele card, Fortress and Phenomenal Pass. Decent skills, but Phenomenal Pass, I don't really understand why they gave him that. It would have been better probably for him to have something like Fortress and a long reach tackle. But let's have a look at the card here. 89 rated here with the boost. Not bad. Destroyer playstyle, defensive mid. He is a pretty decent guy, even though for defensive mid, he's a little bit on the smaller size at 174. Let's see here, first booster defending, as it is the case for, these defensive players, second booster, you go with defending, shutdown, or dueling. Let's look at the player skills here. He's got double touch, one touch pass, phenomenal pass, man marking, interception, blocker, sliding tackle, fortress, acrobatic clearance, and fighting spirit. So he has pretty much everything that he needs as a defensive player. Of course, he's on the smaller side, so, there's no need to give him something like aerial superiority or heading. And it's going to be one of the downsides of this card as a defensive mid. It's just he is a little bit too small. And, if you're trying to get a very good defensive mid, just wait until you get Patrick Vieira rather than Claude Makelele. So, if you were to give him some extra skills here, I would go with some passing skills to go along with his phenomenal pass. I would add, something like weighted pass, low lofted pass, and then, maybe no look pass. I'm not sure. But, in terms of defensive skills, he has everything that he needs. So for the rest, it's probably going to be, up to you what you want to give him. You could also try to give him flip flap and soul control and have sort of this defensive mid that has the ability to do the double touch level 3. But in terms of skills, he has what he needs defensively. I think the only downside to this card is perhaps this phenomenal pass that is not all that useful for him. It would have been better to give him a long reach tackle. Claude Makelele is going to be, he's a destroyer. He's not an orchestrator. So passing is not going to be his forte. You really want him to use him as a defensive player. All right, next is Michael Owen here. Phenomenal finishing and acceleration burst. That is actually a pretty decent showtime skill combination for him. And, he is a very quick player, so the acceleration burst is going to be a good one for him here. Let's have a look at the heat map. You can play him as a striker or as a second striker. 88. He has some, very good speed and acceleration stats. Finishing and offensive awareness, decent, but not exceptional. I think, at this time of his career, when he played for Real Madrid, his speed was not really his forte anymore. Perhaps it would have been more interesting to have a Michael Owen card with higher finishing and higher offensive awareness, but that is not the way they did it. All right, so first booster is off the ball. Second booster, definitely go with striker instinct. And when it comes to the skills, he's got soul control, acceleration burst, heading, long range curler, acrobatic finishing, one-time shot, phenomenal finishing, outside curler, gamesmanship, and super sub. So interesting set of skills here. I think he's missing a few skills. The first one that you're going to want to give him is fighting spirit, absolutely necessary so that he can resist the pressure from the defenders. Then he's got soul control, because he's one of those quick and nimble players. You're going to want to give him the double touch level 3. So you add flip flap and double touch for sure. And that's already 3 skills here. And then he's going to need the long range shooting. So that would be the 4th one. And let's see here. I would probably go with a one-touch pass so that he can play one-touch football. He has the speed, but he doesn't have the physical ability to resist the pressure from the defenders. So, playing one-touch football, just having him pass the ball to another attacker so that that other attacker can do a through ball and send him on his way to the goal, because then he will have the pace necessary to get away from the defender. That would be my choice for the 5 additional skills here for Makelele Owen. In many ways, I would say he's probably the best card of this pack, just because of the skills and in terms of the global, rating of the card. But not necessarily all that interesting when you consider he's playing for the Spanish League, where there's already a lot of attackers. Spanish League is sort of a league where you need more defenders because there's not that many of them, and you have no defenders in this pack whatsoever. Okay, so the next one here is Steve McManaman playing as a right midfielder, momentum dribbling, a skill that is not really all that useful. And as you can see here, 87 rated, creative playmaker, and then he can play in the center as an offensive mid or as a center mid if you give him some position tokens, but he's not by default a central player, which is kind of weird because I think when he was playing for Real Madrid back in those days, he was playing in the center of the pitch. He was not sort of a wing player type of guy. And he is a creative playmaker, so he's not a winger, even though they put him here as a winger type of player. So very strange build up here for Steve McManaman, as it is often the case. We've seen, over the last few weeks, these packs have cards that are built in very strange way with the wrong skills and the wrong play styles. So first booster, agility here. Second booster, it's going to depend on where you want to play him on the pitch. Do you want to play him on the sides, on the wings, or do you want to play him in the center of the field? And because he's a creative playmaker, I would advise people to put him as either a central midfielder or an offensive midfielder. Let's see the skills here. He's got double touch, Marseille turn, chop turn, momentum dribbling, long range curler, one-time shot, one-touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing, and super sub. So another one, you can get 2 super subs if you do this pack. But he's missing crucial skills, to play in the midfield. He doesn't have any of the skills that a midfielder needs, like man marking, interception, sliding tackle, blocker. So that's already 4 that you need to give him. And then I would go probably with a passing skill, something like weighted pass. But the Steve McManaman card, really not all that interesting, all things considered. He's the wrong player, just not enough skills, just 1 skill, wrong position as a right midfielder, wrong play style. You would have liked him to be maybe something more like a box-to-box, and just all over a card that I would say is not really worth it. So this pack, once again, a pack that is not really worth doing. I would definitely skip it. Let's see the other packs that we have here. We have only one. It is Manchester City here. A pack with quite a few cards here, and Erling Haaland here, a card with a booster. So you could... that's, I guess, the most interesting card in this pack. Haaland, of course, very, very good in the game. And then you got Donnarumma, Reinders, Diaz, Mateus Nunes, Ryan Cherky gets a card here, Nico Gonzalez, and Oscar Bob here. So, as usual, these packs, they're not all that great cards, but they're pretty cheap. So if you're starting the game, perhaps it could be interesting, to get a Erling Haaland card here. So that is all really that has been added in terms of new players. In terms of the packs, I think there is nothing new here. And the only things that have been added in this update, except for all that, is of course the events here. And as usual, as every update, there is a new tour event here for the AI. You get a position token and a 4-star nominating contract. And when it comes to the PvP section, once again, it is Spanish clubs and 3 random skill tokens and 50 eFootball coin, as it is usual every week. So to recap all this, this pack, I think it's a pack that you can skip. No need to spin. McManaman is not really that interesting. Is not really the right player ID, not the right position. When it comes to Makelele and Makelele Owen, they're decent cards, but they could still be better in terms of skills. And, you will see them sometime in the future, perhaps with a better combination of skills and stats, and perhaps in a better pack with players that are going to be better than Steve McManaman. So a definite skip for this one. Just wait until, it's going to take a couple of weeks, I guess, at least, until we see something interesting, because of course, quite recently we had a lot of promotion, the treasure link, we had Ankara Messi, and, it's going to take some time before they put something worth really spinning for. So just keep your coin and wait. You will have something better in the future. Anyway, guys, that's what it is for us today. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.